Well, one thing I'm happy about at this point, regardless, is I feel like the soccer is a little more enjoyable to watch. What's your take on that?
Yes. Even though I haven't been watching, I've been watching the clips and trying to catch up a little bit. So I haven't watched full games, but it seems better, especially on the offensive side.
Offensively, we're better.
Yeah. And I'm just not as frustrated in general. Even, the Lennon goal is maddening because we've talked about it so much with the pinching in. But the games have been entertaining. There's been moments where we look really sharp. The skill of some of these players is exciting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave, do you think that part of this is just kind of dragging out Pineda's tenure here? What do you think?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I think the answer is unfortunately yes. I think there's very little chance that we don't make the playoffs. Even if we slump, I don't think we're going below 9. If you look at the gap below 9 is too far. With our talent, if we go below 9, then it's atrocious. We almost cannot win a game and probably finish above 9. How many points do we have? We said that 9th place is typically 42 or 43. Where are we at? We're at 42, right? So we cannot win anything, and we probably get the 9, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be probably 42 or 43 is going to finish the 9th place. So, we're making the playoffs. Yeah. And to me, if I'm Atlanta United, squeezing in the playoffs with the highest paid roster in the league again, or the second highest, nobody really knows, but one of the highest for sure in this fan base or whatever, to me is not good enough. If you've given Pineda 2 full years and a partial half year, he blew it in the playoffs the first year. We just limped into the playoffs after Valentin did such a good job, right? He did an amazing job, got us in the playoff spot. We basically limped in down the stretch under Pineda once he took over, and then we went out in the first round to New York City FC.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah.
And then last year, we don't make the playoffs. And if this year in year 3, you make the playoffs at, 7 or 8, is that good enough?
With arguably the potential candidate for the Golden Boot and MVP of the league on your team.
Oh, wow.
Just with those 2 players, you should be top 4 at least.
Oh, and a starting center back for the U.S. men's national team.
Right.
Like those are rarities to have in the MLS.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Those are 3 gems that you have on your team. And let's not forget the other solid players that we have around.
We have some terrific players.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see too many people.
But I think the answer is going to be he makes the playoffs. They're going to bring him back. And I have said, and I will continue to say it, the boss move is, let's say Pineda gets into, obviously Pineda goes on a run. He gets to the semifinals or finals. Then, you probably, I guess, have to bring him back. I still would have some hesitancy if he gets there from a 7th or 8th spot, because he'd be like, that's sort of a fluke run, but you'd have to probably do it. But I think the boss moves, let's say he gets in the playoffs at 7, we go out in the first round, which is, I think, likely, right? The boss move is to say, we're Atlanta, we're a big club, we're going to establish, in the MLS, there hasn't really been this thing about big clubs and small clubs like there is with Manchester United and Manchester City versus, Bournemouth. Exactly. Small club, big club, right? Or even more like Real Madrid and Barcelona versus the entire rest of the league, right? So if we're a big club, we should establish that we're a big club, and we throw a ton of money at Pat Noonan, the Cincinnati coach, right? Because Cincinnati, 3 consecutive years, they finished last place in the whole MLS. Okay. They didn't really upgrade that much, hardly at all.
Yeah.
Right. They brought in a young guy in Vasquez, and he's made him awesome. And he's made Acosta, who was there the whole time. Yeah. Right. Those are the big players. Right. He comes in, and in their first year, they finish 5th. They make the playoffs and finish 5th. Now they're running away with the Supporters Shield. How is that? Yeah. That's coaching, is what I got to say. And if you watch the game against us, they totally outcoached us. They never panicked after we scored early. They dominated the game after that, and they beat us here in the Bends. So in my opinion, let's go be a boss and be like, you're still a small club, Cincinnati, and we're going to take your coach.